Oh, baby, we're back. It's deep dives, not super deep, but deep enough so you get a good feel of where each team is in going into the 2023 season. It's episode 139 of the Designated Players Podcast. What's up, everybody? How are we doing? Connor, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great considering you just spoke to me 5 minutes ago.
Whoa, breaking the fourth wall
Whoa.
here and letting them know that time
Whoa.
exists. Uncool. As I mentioned, we are in deep dives. We are recording just about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the season kicks off. So we're here talking a little bit about how each team is looking at this moment in time heading into the 2023 season. We got another 7 teams up for you. If you don't know how this works or what we're doing, go watch episode 138 or 137 because it's the same exact thing there. We're breaking down every team. We're talking managers. We're talking predicted 11s. We're talking losses. We're talking additions, breakout players, talking all about it. But we can't talk about any of that by law, actually. I just read the law until we do Scarf of the Week. So, Connor, what are you rocking?
Well, I could tell you I do not want to get in trouble with the law. So I made sure to bring my scarf, and you'll be happy with this one. I brought out the Red Bull scarf for this episode.
Excuse me. I was so caught off guard of your support of the
It
Red
really
Bull.
looks like a Maryland scarf, if we're being honest.
I've got it somewhere. I think it's this one here.
Yeah, it's in there. I don't know.
It's there somewhere.
You got too many
I
Red
can't
Bull
see it.
scarves.
My screen's smaller than yours, but oh my God, I'm
Are you all
dying.
right? Can you stop dying?
Because I didn't want to match scarves again. I think we've done that like 2 episodes in a row now. I have brought out another one of my very favorites, my Portland Timber scarf.
That is a
It's got
nice
the
scarf.
now my favorite one again. Things I didn't realize until I started like looking at them. It makes a tree in the middle. Like if I
This
wear it
is what
like
he gets
this and
excited about.
I got a tree on my chest. Look at that. I feel bad for the people who only listen to this show because the YouTube episodes are so much more fun.
You could clip that and then just post it somewhere. They'll
You
get the
mean like
idea.
how we do on TikTok every week, posting scarf of the week? No way.
There you go. Segue.
Make sure you're following us on TikTok to see our scarves of the week if you are listening to this so you can see what they are. All right. We have complied with all podcast laws.
Yes.
We may now move on to deep dives. And we start, sorry, disclaimer Connor will not allow us to do guesses anymore because he wants to be more prepared. And we had to schedule it early because Connor thinks he isn't lame. Air quotes around all of those.
I could
Bum.
tell. Yeah.
We start with New York City. We take ourselves out to the ball game to talk about Nick Cushing entering his second year, first as his proper manager, after finishing third in the East with 55 points. I've got him in a 4-3-3 shape right now because they've only got about 15 players. So this is the best that I can get. I've got Matt Freese in goal with Tavon Gray, Martins, Chanot, and Kufre in the back four. Parks, Morales, and Justin Hack in midfield three, with Pereira, Magno, and Andrade in the front three.
I'm very similar. I got one change, but it does ultimately change my shape. I've got them in a 4-2-3-1. I've also got Matt Freese in goal, Tavon Gray, Thiago Martins, Maxime Chanot, and then Brian Kufre. Midfield, I've got Alfredo Morelos and Keaton Parks. The attackers behind the striker, I've got Andrade, Matthias Pellegrini, and Gabriel Pereira. And then up top, I've got Tyus Magno.
Interesting. I don't see Pellegrini as a 10 personally. I mean, I'm sure he could play it, but I see him more as a wide player. I was really hoping you were going to say the 14-year-old was going to start at Cam. I needed it in my
No,
veins.
no. I'm not. I'm not that crazy.
Talking about their best edition, then who do you think it is?
I went with Pellegrini, considering I have him starting at Cam. Um, yeah, mainly for that reason, just because I think the only other person I would maybe consider is Brian Kufri, but I feel like they already were kind of okay in that position with Amundsen. I feel like they could have went and got something else. So I'm glad that they went and at least added another attacking option for them because they're kind of thin up there. So that's where I went.
I think it's kind of a I think it's kind of a weak I think it's a weak choice personally, considering that he was in the team technically last year and he played 4 games for them for
Wow, 4
59
games.
minutes
Yeah.
and 10 whole minutes in the playoffs. Yeah, weak pick. For me, give me Matt Freese. I think they're going to give him the number 1 spot, and I think he finally does take this time to, realize his potential. I think he was never going to get it playing behind Andre Blake, so I think this is a really good chance for him. In terms of losses, there are a lot of them, and you could pick a
Yeah,
lot of people.
you could.
I'm going with Maxi Morales. I think that his impact in that forward third in the attacking phase of the game was just unbelievable for this team. You could see when he was in and when he wasn't in how massive of a change that would be. And they really haven't replaced it yet. Now, again, remember, we're recording this 2 weeks before the season starts. I've heard rumors of a lot of different people could come in the door for New York City, including the return of Santi Rodriguez. But again, I think Maxi is going to be a tough one to replace.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, you could pick a number of people from that list, but I have gone with Sean Johnson. I don't love the addition of Matt Freese in goal, so I think that to me, it's definitely a downgrade in that position. Obviously, Sean Johnson is a veteran and one of the better goalkeepers in this league. So to go from him to Matt Freese, I think is definitely a drop off for them.
Interesting. I'm not really here for the Matt Freese slander. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it.
Well, then we're not going to
Um,
be friends.
please save all of that slander for William Yarborough. Thank you. Um, I'm really, really interested in a player that I'm watching this year in Gabriel Segal. Right, he was a college player who ended up going to the Cologne system and came back on waivers. He is the only true number 9 on roster right now. They are going to try Tyus Magno at 9, and I'm sure they're going to try a whole bunch of people too. But if that doesn't work, and I'm not sure it will, he may need to step up into a key role for 2023. So interested to see how that works.
Yeah, good shout. I
Thanks,
went
man.
with podcast fan favorite Justin Hack. I
Hack.
think this is a fantastic opportunity for him to get into the mix and get really good minutes this season, considering there are 3 midfielders on the roster, I believe, at the moment. So if they end up going with the 3 midfield formation, like you said, then he'll definitely be in the mix. But even if not, I think he'll definitely still be getting in the mix with Morelos and Keaton Parks, especially if, Keaton's coming back from an injury season. Um, you know, we'll see how he can kind of slide back into things, but I think you're going to see a lot more Justin Hack this season.
Very nice. Well, why don't you go ahead and ask a question to them?
Okay. My question for the NYC fans: can NYCFC, with the time that's left in this window, fill the holes of the people that left?
My question. Spare signings, anybody? Spare signings. Spare signings. They're gonna do
That's okay.
anything.
They'll just get some signings from the other Man City teams. I
Not
mean, they're going to
anymore.
get
Now that they're
Santi
gonna have
Rod.
to worry about finances.
That's that's a fair point, but I mean, come on, they got Santi Rodriguez that's potentially coming back. That's a City team that he's coming from.
Yeah, but that's a legal transfer. This isn't like if so. And side tangent is before we move on, which I think we should make a whole episode on. First episode back after we do all our preseason stuff. If Man City get hit really hard with these sanctions, they have to spend a lot of money, like to pay off whatever they've done. Now they have to worry about where their funds are actually going. New York City's getting cut off at the throat. all of that scouting network, all of the loan system, anything that they were doing to finance that team is going to the floor.
Yeah, and they're going to be in trouble from that. I can tell you that
Yeah, they will.
much. I think
MLS
Man
won't do
City's bailed
anything
them
to
out
them.
on a few. I think Man City's bailed them out on a few occasions, to be honest.
No, I agree. And again, MLS won't punish them because it's not like they did anything, wrong in our system. But
Mhm.
yeah, if your owner isn't going to give you money, you might as well be Colorado.
Yikes! I thought
Sorry,
you
I
were
should
going
have
to
said
go
San Jose.
Vancouver.
I should have said Vancouver. You're right. Let's move on. Let's go back over to the West. Let's go to LA, but the less good LA team. Greg Vanney
Ooh,
in his
shots
third
fired.
year.
Making
Greg
more
Vanney
enemies of the
going
pod.
to the veins. Greg Vanney entering his third year is coming off a fourth place finish in the West on 50 points. Talk to me about who you think is going to line up for them and in what shape.
I went with kind of a wacky, goofy shape on this one. Tried to make it fun. Um, Actually, I think I remember seeing that they played this a little bit, maybe not um a ton last season, but either a 4-3-1-2 or like a 4-1-2-1-2, kind of similar to Philly. I've got Jonathan Bond in goal. For now, I've got Julian Araujo at right back, Chris Mavinga and Segu Koulibaly, and then Raheem Edwards at left back. Midfield three for me, I've got Marky Delgado, Ricky Puig, and Gaston Brugman. In the cam spot, I've got Efren Alvarez, and then up top, I've got Chicharito and a player that has more than deservedly needed a starting spot in this team, Dejan Jovelic.
I love that. I love everything about that. I can promise you it's not happening.
No, I probably won't, but this is what I think they should do at least.
I love it. No, I love it. I'm here for it. I hate that it won't happen. I've got him in a 4-3-3 attacking. Bond, Araujo, Koulibaly, Mavinga, Edwards, Brugman, and Delgado with Puig in front of them. Douglas Costa on one side, Memo Rodriguez on the other with Chicharito leading the line. To build up on that, I think Memo Rodriguez was their best addition in a very quiet window for LA. He's a step up from either Cabral or Grandsir, and I think he'll do well. He's also more flexible. You can flex him to the middle. He'll be okay.
I went with Chris Mavinga. I'm not a huge Chris Mavinga fan, but considering that their other center back options were either Eric Zavaleta or Martin Caceres, I will say that Chris Mavinga was a good addition for them.
What about their biggest loss?
On the same theme, I went Derek Williams. I think he was not the best center back in the league, but I think he was a starting level center back for this team. And before they signed Mavinga, I think there was a hole at center back too for them. I think they probably would have ended up playing Caceres there, but I don't think that Martin Caceres is good enough to be center back too. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there. That's for sure. Um, for me, it's the mixture of Vasquez or Kljestan. I know both of them weren't starters or really played a lot of minutes, but I think that they were key playmakers. If you need to change a game, you knew you could rely on them for 20 minutes to do something properly. In this shape, I don't think they wouldn't have made a massive impact this way anyway because Ricky Puig's going to go 90 minutes every game. So it was a good to get him off, but that was mine. Player to
Yeah, fair shot.
watch, easy. Ricky Puig, again, less of a breakout player and more of a if this dude is doing what I think he's about to do, we're talking spoiler alert, we're talking MVP level caliber numbers here. And all he needs is Chicharito to tap the ball in the net like he's been doing 900 times. And Ricky Puig going to look very, very good this year.
Yeah, fair. I also have high expectations for Ricky Puig this season. Based on my shape, my player to watch was Efren Alvarez, a guy with massive
Nice.
potential for years now. And in my shape, he would finally get the starting spot. So with that starting spot, I think we would see a breakout season from him, and maybe he can finally get that move that I feel like has been awaiting him that European move.
Nice. My
Question?
question for them, can this back line hold up well enough to let Puig, Chicharito, and company succeed properly?
Who needs defense? MLS 4.0.
MLS 4.0, baby. 5-4 every game. That's what we need.
Of course. My question, did the Galaxy do enough now with the impending penalties coming up? And Galaxy fans can correct me if the penalties have already started to hit, but if they are out for the next window, did they do enough now to bolster the team for this season?
I like that. I like that a lot. Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
I will say, let's move on. That's what I'll say.
I agree.
Keep it open ended. Gio Savarese in Portland enters his 7th year. Goodness me. Just barely missing out on the playoffs after making it to MLS Cup 2021. He finished 8th in the West with 46 points. Talk to me about the shape you think they might be in.
I went funky on this one again. Look, it's in my veins. I'm here for the exciting ones. I've got them in a 3-4-2-1. So I've got Ivacic in goal, center back 3 of Bill Tuiloma, Zach McGraw, and Dario Zuparic. I've got Claudio Bravo on the left. I've got Diego Chara and Eric Williamson in the middle. And on the right, I've got Juan David Mosquera. In the 2 central attacking mid spots, I've got Evander and Sebastian Blanco. And then up top, for whatever reason, Portland had been playing Tyron Espria at striker at the end of last season. So considering more of what is hurt, I believe, still at the start of this year, I went with Espria as the number 1 guy right now. Considering Niezgoda and Fogaccia were healthy last season and Espria was still playing striker ahead of them.
What an awful, awful formation. Everything about that was terrible.
Thanks.
I've got him in the very, very complex 4-2-3-1 because nobody's going to play that shape.
Boo. They played that shape. What do you mean? They played it towards the end of the last season.
Red
Not
Bull
every
play
game,
that
but
shape. Red Bull play that shape too.
they played their shape.
Ivacic, Mosquera, Mabiala, Zuparic, and Bravo in a back 4. Chara and Williamson in front of them. Moreno, Evander, and Yimi Chara with Niezgoda up top. Simple, to the point. Let Evander cook. Best addition, by the way, was Evander. It was also the only addition, but even if they signed 9 other players, he still would have been the top.
I don't know. I'm not sold on Evander being the best signing for this window. I don't know. Think it might be come on, they probably made like some kind of deal for like a international roster spot or something. That maybe that'll be the best signing of the window.
They re-signed Nathan Fogaccia. That's the only other signing.
Nah, I'll take the international roster spot instead. Nah, Evander, obviously. Yes.
Talk to me about their biggest loss, though.
They really didn't lose anything, to be honest with you. I went with one Jose Carlos Van Rankin, even though from everything I believe I've heard, he was not good for them. But I honestly, I don't know if the other guys were getting game time really much at all.
Yep, same here. Van Rankin's the only one who really got minutes, so let's go. Player to watch for me. There aren't a lot of young guys going to get in this team. There aren't really a lot of young guys on this roster. So let's watch the new guy. Evander's my player to watch.
Wow. Really reached for that one, huh?
Thanks, man.
I went with David Ayala.
Okay.
That is one of their few young guys on the team. I don't have him listed as a starter, but I think honestly any of those 4 guys in the midfield could start. I think David Ayala could be in the mix, but I think he'll get minutes this season no matter what. And I think he's young. I think he's got good potential and he has a really good team around him. So if he does get good minutes, I think it'll be pretty easy for him to kind of settle in and do well here.
Nice. I like it. Ask a question.
Simple question, Portland fans. How does this team line up this season? Feel like you got options.
Boring. Loser.
You're boring. And a
Yeah, but I
loser.
mean, still.
You picked them in a 4-2-3-1. Who are you to talk about boring?
I
At least
don't
I
care
tried
if
something
it's not.
different.
I hold on. Let me quote you from our World Cup predictions. I don't care if it's not out of the box. I just want to be right.
That was a different me. I'm a new person
Okay.
now.
Yes, it's only different when you do it. That's right.
Yeah. I'm glad you're figuring that out.
My question is very simple: which DP is dropped, and how are they going to do it? Are they buying him down? Are they selling somebody? What's going on? Because as of again, to my knowledge, they still got four.
Maybe they're just going to
Quick
take the
Google
penalty
search.
in the upcoming season.
It's like if
They'll
LA
they'll
can do
pull a
it and
galaxy.
play 4 years before you do something to them, so are we.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Just go take a cup, take the penalty, and move on.
yeah, it's Blanco. I'm assuming they're buying Blanco down. It's got to be or Yimmy.
Yeah, I
Ay,
would think so too.
ay, nightmare. Anyways, let's move on to our friends in Dallas. Nico Estevez goes to his second year after finishing third in the West with 53 points. I've got him. Wait for this one in a 4-2-3-1
You're the worst. I hate you.
with Martin Paes in goal, Jesus Martinez, Ibiaga, and Farfan in a back three, or I'm sorry, in a back four. Quignon and Letget. Who's Letget? Oh, Sebastian Leggett, the goat. Um, Ariola, Paxton Pomykal, Velasco, and Ferreira make up those final four spots up front.
Okay, I have a little bit different. I have them in a 4-3-3. I have Martin Paes in goal. I've got Jesus. I went with Nkosi with Jose Martinez and Marco Farfan. I have Edwin Cerrillo in the midfield with Paxton Pomykal and Sebastian Letget. I have Alan Velasco on the left, Paul Arriola on the right, and Jesus Ferreira up top.
So I know I've said this like 900 times, but 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1 are basically the same shape. So you're
Yeah,
just as
pretty
boring.
much. I I didn't claim to be exciting on this one.
I mean, I'm just calling you out. Talk to me about their best edition.
Giovan Jesus at right back. I think that was a hole for them that I think they with them losing Nanu, and I think they filled it pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really excited. I think he'll be a really good addition for them. I think he fits the play style very well. And I think he'll be a step up because I think Nanu was kind of like a flyer, but I think Jesus has a good basis to build off. So I'm excited for that. I am not excited though to watch an FC Dallas side without Matt Hedges. That is a massive loss, one of the biggest for me. Not only we're losing his ability, but we're also losing his leadership out of this FC Dallas side. So
Yeah, it was a tough call between him and Frank O'Hara. I mean, Frank O'Hara is a legend of this club, so to lose him definitely hurts. It hurts the soul at least. Um,
you're
yeah, Matt
awful.
Hedges. Matt
You're awful.
Hedges Vegas loss. I know how much you
Um,
love Frank O'Hara.
you're the worst. Talk to me about their breakout player then.
Surprisingly enough, I think the team overall is pretty young, but I didn't see anybody as like a super young guy that's going to be breaking through on the team. I went with Tariq Scott, which I think they just added. I didn't see a ton of options on the left wing, and I think I have him right now as the backup behind Alan Velasco. So, if he's number two, I think he's got a shot at getting good game time in. So I'll keep an eye on him.
Interesting. For me, it's Nkosi Tafari. That center back, I've got him at center back three right now, and I think, and I mentioned this too. I think um, Porcha is okay. I don't know if he's anything, starting quality right now. And Ibiaga is experienced, but I think he's got, um, you know, there's a reason he didn't stick around New York City, right? So I think Tafari, after what I think this is year four for him. He's got the experience at lower levels. He's played a ton of games for FC Dallas already. I think he's got a chance to break in and make a real good impact for this team. So he's my one to watch. I also
Nice.
played against him, so just want to put that out there.
Yeah. Haven't heard that one like 5,000
Yeah,
times before.
yeah. U14 soccer was legit back in the day. My one question is Paxton Pomykal the right number 10 to get the best out of the Areola, Ferreira, Velasco front three? Last year, he had 33 appearances and only 2 assists. He's only got 5 assists in his entire career. I know he's not really like a true number 10, like a Vasquez question type of, number 10, but he's the most advanced out of the 3. And yes, FC Dallas were totally fine without him playing as a proper like ball playing number 10. But I really think that they need one of those to get the most out, to be the give them the best shot at being title contenders this year for something. Just that's my wonder.
Okay. My question is, does this team need anything else in order to be competing for the Supporter Shield and MLS Cup?
Yeah, true number 10 properly.
All right, buddy.
All right, let's go up north. Let's talk about Toronto. Bob Bradley goes into his second year after finishing 13th in the East on 34 points, second to last, only above DC United. They were mainly spending more time with the Pope than anything else. Talk to me. Talking about their roster and their shape and their predicted 11.
Yeah, I will spoiler alert. I don't have any more fun, exciting formations
Thank
for the rest of this episode. Sorry. I apologize. But I've got them at a 4-3-3. Sean Johnson in goal. Raul Petretta on the left. Hedges and someone that I think maybe is a recent signing.
Very recent. I know exactly.
Rosted.
Yep. Yeah. He was brand new, like yesterday.
Yeah. I got those 2 at center back. And then I got Richie Larea at right back. Midfield 3 of Mark Anthony Kaye, Michael Bradley, and Jonathan Osorio. And then the attack is Lorenzo Insigne, Jesus Jimenez, and Federico Bernardeschi.
Mine is very similar. I've got him in a 4-3-3. I'm actually, now I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure we've got the same one. I got Johnson in goal, Larea, Hedges, Rosted, and Petretta as the back 4. Kaye, Osorio, Michael Bradley in the 3, and then Bernardeschi, Jimenez, Insigne. So,
yeah,
nice.
Exactly the
same. For me, best addition. Gotta give some goalkeeper love out here. I've been hiding it for a little bit, but my boy Sean Johnson in there is a massive addition over the fact that they've needed a true goalkeeper one for like 2-3 years now. So very excited that they've got him in and excited to see what they turn around and do.
I was also going to go Sean Johnson, but considering you went Sean Johnson, I will go Matt Hedges because I think honestly you can go interchangeably with the impact that these two will have as new signings. I think Hedges will be a great addition to the back line. He's extremely experienced and successful in this league. And I think he will be a key player in revamping and making Toronto's defense much stronger than last year.
Nice. I like that. Biggest loss, though, for you?
Nobody jumped out to me as a major loss. I went with Chris Mavinga because I think at the time when they left him or when they let him leave, there were definitely a lot of question marks at center back. Obviously, now they've went and signed new players to play at that position. But I think at the time, Mavinga was here for a few seasons and I think kind of settled in as a consistent center back for them, even if it wasn't, the best results. But that's who I went with.
Yeah, for me, it was Nobel Akello. Again, not many people jumped off the page is like, oh my God, I can't believe they're not bringing him back, except for maybe Carlos Salcedo, future MLS Defensive Player of the Year one year.
He
But
still got potential. He could still do
he
it one
does.
day.
It's there. He can do it if he wants. But no, Nabella Kello, I always thought was just one of those guys that had a really high ceiling that he could have brought to the team. But everybody they've lost, they've kind of replaced better, right? There's nobody that they lost, and the replacement they brought in are like, oh man, that's not the same level. So yeah, not much there. But one player that I'm watching, again with a little bit of high potential, is Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, 18-year-old, stirring up a ton of rumors right now about making some moves overseas. I think this is a year that he shines, he breaks out, and he shows them, okay, I've earned my move. Again, I think Larea will probably get the start, but I'm sure that they'll, bring him in as often as they can.
You suck. That's exactly who I picked too. I'm not adding anything else. That's exactly why I picked.
I'm about to say, wait to see if you're saying. Talk to me about your question.
Okay, so my question for Toronto fans is anything less than at least one trophy win this season considered successful?
That's a high ass there. That's a high bar, my friend. They finished second to last in the entire league last year.
Yeah, but look at this team on paper. This is a favorite for Supporter Shield now.
Look at this team on paper. They've got 3 30-year-old center mids, and that's it.
What do you mean that's it?
That's it. Who are they? What? They have one other replacement center mid? Hold on. Let me pull up this depth chart.
Yeah, they do. They only have Victor Vasquez is the only backup center mid that they have right now.
Yes, that's right. They're going to take 3 30-year-old center mids running for 3,000 minutes a season, and then when they get tired, put in.
They're probably going to bring someone else in. Relax.
We're not talking about the future, though. We're talking about
this
now.
This team is in win now, and they should be good enough to compete for some trophy this season, even if it's US Open Cup.
They're in a 2-year rebuild. This is year 1 of rebuild where they're getting the right players in. They need more players. This isn't win now yet. Next year will be win now, and you'll see it. But they're not. My question is, are they really going to make the playoffs by running Michael Bradley 3,000 minutes a year for the second straight season? They ran him for 3,000.
You don't think this team makes the playoffs? That's insane.
They ran him for 3,000 minutes last year, or 3,040 minutes last year, excuse me, and finished bottom of the league outside of DC United, who had nobody. I'm not saying that they can't, but I'm saying that it's a lot harder when your entire midfield looks like 2015 New York City.
I don't think their midfield was the problem. It was their defense, and they revamped it. We have 4.
Why was their defense? Why was their defense bad? Why was their defense bad? Because their midfield wasn't stopping the service into the. It's all connected, my friend. And when you're running Michael Bradley 3,000 minutes a season, it's not going to work. I won't hear it.
I can't wait for standings predictions. That's
me too. Me too.
It's going to be great. I hope you get slated.
Me too. I do too, because then I can go back just like the Group B predictions and comment on every single comment and say, "What you doing, bro?" Yeah, I am the drama. I am toxic. Deal with it. Let's stay in Canada, but move on. We've got Vanni Sartini's Vancouver Whitecaps.
Your favorite team.
In his third year, we've got him coming off a finish of 9th place in the West with 43 points. I've got him in a 3-4-2-1. You want to talk about fun formations? Vanni Sartini's a fun formation.
Wow.
Right now, it's Thomas Hasal in goal. They do have rumors out for some others, but I think he gets a spot. Javen Brown, Veselinovic, and Laborda, as a center back 3. Gressel, Kubas, Tybert, and Gutierrez in a 4-pack, with Caicedo and Ryan Gauld in the 2-pack, and Brian White, Red Bull legend, leading the line.
Interesting. Firstly, I want to. Well, you know what? Actually, I'll say it after I say his shape. I have them in a 4-2-3-1. I've got Hasal in goal, Javen Brown at right back, Tristan Blackman and Veselinovic at center backs, Luis Martins at left back, Tybert and Kubas in the midfield. I've got Pedro Vite, Ryan Gauld, Julian Gressel and then Brian White up top.
Yeah,
Not what I
I
would
think
personally go with, but what I think that they will go with.
I think you see Gressel be more of a wing back properly. I think you see him more rather than a right winger, which is what I think is in your
It's what he
shape.
should be. But let's remember what team we're talking about here.
Yeah, let's remember that they played 3-4-2-1 20 times last year.
Yeah, but that was also when they had.
With Tristan Blackman playing right wing back.
But they also had Jake Nowinski and Florian Youngworth last year as options to play there. I don't love having Tristan Blackman and Javane Brown at center back.
Well,
I don't know
Tristan
if you
Blackman's
feel
not
differently,
playing.
but
Tristan Blackman would be a better center back, I think. But anyways, we move. Um, Give me their best edition.
Matthias Laborda.
Nice.
I mean, I will. Okay, so this is where I wanted to caveat by saying that I'll call it my VAR reinspection of their transfer window. It was abysmal. I was way too lenient on them, honestly. They were just like, how do you
Freeze,
this window
freeze,
was
freeze,
horrific for
freeze,
them.
freeze, freeze. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. A public apology. Andrew, I am sorry. I was so wrong and you were right. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yes, you were absolutely right on this one. Um, I was way too lenient on them. I must have just got like lost in a couple of like C ratings, but they've lost a few players, I would just say a lot of numbers in terms of players and a few, pretty good players, and they just added nothing. So yeah, I ended up on Matthias Laborda because I think he's the only one that's probably getting minutes this season.
Yeah. I'm so happy. That was um yeah, for me. Well, I gotta double check something here. Do 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 do. Professional podcast. Oh, I need to change it. That sucks. I was gonna pick Julian Gressel, but he spent way too much time over there. I was thinking like he only spent a couple of games, and I was like, okay, I can get away with saying he's a new signing because um, they haven't really used him yet, but they did, and he was. I mean, they were terrible with him anyways. It doesn't matter. Um,
Just pick Matthias Laborda. Let's
yeah,
move on.
that's the only other option, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
we'll move on. Yeah, we'll move on to their biggest loss, and it's Lucas Cavallini for me. They didn't have a great attack, but he was a big part of it. So
I went with Jake Nowinski. I don't think Nowinski was like a world beater or anything last year, but he's been with the team for a really long time, and gave them options at center back if they did want to go with the back three. I think that he was, at least in my opinion, a better option than probably Tristan Blackman. And I don't, me personally, I'd rather Javane Brown as a right back. But that being said, I think Nowinski gave him options in the back line. He was versatile. He was here for a long time. So that's who I went with.
cool. Talk to me about a player you're watching this year.
Oh, I forgot to pick somebody. That kind of sums up Vancouver, doesn't it?
All right, I'll tell you who I'm watching. You can think about
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
Um, Greggy, our good friend Greg's got a son on this team. His name is Sebastian Berhalter. As much as I love Greggy boy, I think Seb Berhalter is the more important Berhalter right now. I think
Wow.
I think he's got an ability because I don't think this Vancouver team is going to be good enough to have a consistent 11 for more than, I don't know, 3 games in a row. So I'm thinking that Sebastian Berhalter gets a lot of good minutes, and I think he could really jump his stock this season if he dives in there.
All right. On the Berhalter hype train, I see.
Something like that.
I've gone with Pedro Vite. I genuinely have zero clue where they're going to play him because I literally saw him all over. He's listed as a center mid. I saw him played as a striker according to Transfer Market. I saw him play as a left wing. So I don't know. Did we find Julian Gressel 2.0? I mean, it's a possibility, but I have him in my starting 11. What?
All I'm saying is he better get ready for warm weather, because if that's the case, then Ben Olsen's coming knocking.
Oh yeah, for sure. He should have just been if he waited a little bit longer, he could have been Vancouver's coach, and then he could have had Julian Gressel.
And Pedro Vite, it would have been
Yeah,
a
and
fever
he's
dream.
got Tristan Blackman playing as a center back and Javane Brown playing as a center back. I mean, this is his ideal team. Anyway,
Ask a
anyway,
question.
I've gone I've gone Pedro Vite. He's 20 years old. He's in my starting 11. I don't know. Nobody's breaking out from this team. They suck.
Ask a question.
Uh, Vancouver fans, do you think your club is trying hard enough to win?
I don't know. Let's ask the guy who called them out last week. I don't know. Jeez.
Well, you're not a Vancouver fan. I'm not asking you.
I love Vancouver. I'm gonna get my Vancouver scarf. Up
You have a Vancouver scarf?
Whitecaps. Well, if you want to know all about what we think about Vancouver, I forgot to write a question down.
Oh boy! Wow, we're doing great.
Enemies of
We really
the
just
pod.
didn't care about Vancouver, did we?
Enemies of the pod, Vancouver.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't
Um,
blame them.
my one question, is Brian White the guy? Is he the guy to lead this line for 3,000 minutes this year? I'm gonna say no, because Red Bull makes
What
the
other
world
choice
takes
do you
them.
have?
The world never succeeds. But yeah, there's really no choice, is there? All right, let's move on to
Pedro
better
Vite.
teams. Let's move on to more fun teams. Let's move on to the New York Red Bulls, aka the future MLS Cup champions, aka the future US Open Cup champions, aka the future Supporters Shield champions, aka the real treble winners. Gerard Struber enters Gerard Struber enters year 3 after finishing 4th in the East with 53 points. I've got him in another funny shape. I've got him in a 4-2-2-2. I think the 4-2-2-2 comes back this year, or a 4-1-2-1-2 now. But I wanted to play 4-2-2-2 because I thought it'd be fun. Cornell in goal, Duncan, Nealis, Reyes, and Tolkien in a back 4. Edelman and Yearwood in the first 2. Then the advanced 2, Cáceres and Luquinhas, with Dante Vanzier and Elias Manuel in the front 2. And again, if we were to flip that, it would just be Edelman on the deep point, Yearwood and Cáceres in the midfield 2, with Luquinhas in front of him.
Am I missing something, or like, did your brain just melt?
Why?
How did you not add your best player from last season?
He didn't make the cut. It's his year.
That's
but
insane.
He didn't make the cut. I know.
Crazy.
He's my first guy off the bench. Here's the thing. He would have been striker 2 for me. I would have put him striker 2 before I put no, with Corey Burke here, he wouldn't have made the cut anyway. I know Gerard Struber loves him, but I think a healthy Cáceres and a healthy Luquinhas pair up better than, like, when Cáceres goes on to international duty with Venezuela, he'll slide right in there, no problem. But I'll take Cáceres over Yeravomir Fernandez right now.
Okay, well, I went with a 4-3-3, defensive 4-3-3. So I think 2 that'll sit deeper.
Oh man,
so that I could actually fit their best player from last year.
I realized I don't have him in there, do I?
Who did you think I was talking about? Do you think I was talking about Omir?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, no, I'm talking about your real best player last year.
we're in meme time right now. How could I know?
You figure that out. I'm gonna go through my team.
Yeah,
I had Carlos Cornell in goal, Kyle Duncan at the right back, Reyes and Nealis as the center backs, Tolkien at left back. I got Yearwood and Edelman in the deeper midfield positions, Christian Cáceres ahead of them. I have Lewis Morgan, believe it or not, on the left wing. Lewis Morgan, your best player.
Never heard.
Who knows the Red Bulls now, huh?
Never heard.
Luquinhas on the right, and I've got Dante up top.
So here's my struggle, right? Really what I wanted to play them in the 3-4-1-2 that they're very, very good at. We don't have the center back depth to do it.
Nope.
Like, in the slightest.
Nope. Yeah, once you lost Aaron Long.
unless
could.
the rumors are true about some of the players that we're looking to sign. Anyways, if I were to fix this, I would drop Yearwood for Cáceres, and I'd put Morgan in that front two. Which again, it's the same.
Right.
It's the same look that we would have had. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah,
tough
you
part
missed that
about
one.
having. This is a tough part about having a lot of really talented young midfielders is you don't know who's going to get picked. Our midfielders 19, 23, 22, 20, 17, 20, 22, 19, and 26. Those are all of our center midfielders, and they all can play. So, yeah, best addition, Dante Vanzier. Very excited for what he can do after seeing his debut in Belgium.
Yep. That was an easy one. Dante's best edition.
Yep. He's got a $5 million transfer tag. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I know you're not used to
Big.
those.
I know, not here. Biggest loss.
Aaron Long.
Yep, me too.
Feels
Another
pretty obvious. Yeah.
another captain gone too soon. R.I.P. captain.
Who's the new captain this year? Who's getting sold after
Have
this season?
they haven't decided, but I'm assuming we'll give it to John Tolkien so that we can keep the streak going when he's sold in May. No, I think there's rumors that Coronel would get it. There's rumors Sean Nealis would get it. I wouldn't love that, but anyways, player to watch for me. As you know, it is the year of Omir. So for the 5th year in a row. I'm just kidding. There's a I don't know if it's rumors based off of like fans or if it's actual rumors, but I've heard that 6'8" center back out of the Navy, Matt Nosita, has a decent chance of getting minutes this year. Again, probably because we'll stick with that 3-4-2-1 and he'll be number 3. Dude's 6'8". Just leave it at that. Like I want to see him play just because he's massive. But he could step up and get some minutes in this back line if we choose that formation, or even if we don't, right? Reyes is not perfect, and Indom is not perfect either. So he could step in and do something.
Yeah, I mean, if you play 3 center backs, he's definitely getting minutes this season. That's without question.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, Andres Reyes is due for 5 red cards this season, so somebody's got to slide in there then. I went with Sergio Goma as my one to watch for this season.
Love that.
I've stuck him out on the wings. I think whether it's the left or the right, I think he can be the next man up to sub in for Morgan or Luquinhas. And I think, we saw bits and flashes, our new favorite term. We saw bits and flashes of him. And I think there's, obviously some massive potential there. I mean, he's only 17, so if he can get like decent minutes at 17 in this team, I mean, that's fantastic.
Ask a question. Let's finish this up.
Is this team good enough to finish top of the East?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because I won't set myself up for that. I won't set myself up for that. Because I know the second I'm like, oh yeah, because the last 4 years I've been like, yeah, they're not making the playoffs, and they've gotten in. But I know this year I'm be like, oh man, this is a top 2 team in the East, and they're gonna finish like 10th. So my
Fair
question
enough.
is, the pieces are finally feeling like they're starting to fall into place. We're getting our striker. Our midfield is fantastically strong. We're a little thin in the back, but we can fix that. So my question is, what will our first That's So Metro moment be of the year? And why is the worst That's So Metro moment going to be when we lose to Philly on PKs in the Eastern Conference Final? Because we know it's going to happen, because that's how everything works here. We do well, we get into a playoff, we get Philly at some point, they end up going to penalties, and we lose in penalties. It's just history repeats itself, and it punishes those who do not study it, which clearly we do not. So I've just circled the date on my calendar, like I'm waiting for it. I will enjoy everything until that point, and then I will cry.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
All right. Well, that is episode 139. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you are following us wherever you get your podcasts so you know when all of our episodes go live. And make sure you are following us on all forms of social media so you can interact with all of our clips. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We are all over the place. So make sure you're over there. Just search the Designated Players Podcast. And make sure you're getting ready for episode 140, where we finish up our not so deep dives with the last 7 teams of the league. And if you want to know some deep dives on the other ones, go check them out. Episode 137, 138, now 139. 21 teams of deep dives. So again, thanks everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will catch you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.